Alright, guys. So, welcome back to another fanfiction idea, and in honor of Jurassic World Rebirth premiering tomorrow, as of this recording, I thought it'd be kind of fun to dust off this story, Jurassic Park Creature from the Black Lagoon. So, let's get started. So, this story is kind of like my Jurassic Kong stories, where it's kind of an alternate take just a wee bit. And this is going to be set during the events of the original Jurassic Park film. So, in here, John Hammond has an InGen managed to clone the original Gillman. Reason being is that when John is explaining like all the creatures, he's like, we have one creature from the Precambrian era, which I am very excited, spared no expense to show him off. And Grant's like, because this is during the during the conversation at dinner, and he's like, what did you clone? And he's like, oh, I can't wait to show you. He's going to be an amazing attraction at the when we get the riverboat show going. And he's like, come on, I'll show you. So John brings them to like a water tank, and in there is like a small little subaquatic area. And what swims forward is the Gillman. It's just kind of watching them, and then swims back away. And basically, this is like set in that scene in between the dinner scene and them meeting Lex and Tim. And John explains, have you ever heard about the incident with the Rita? And Grant's like, yeah, I heard about that. That was 1954. A expedition in the Amazon allegedly found a creature that had been Precambrian. And they alleged the creature was a missing link between amphibian and evolution itself. But the body was never recovered. And the fossil was destroyed en route back to the U.S. museums. It was kind of treated as kind of almost like a hoax. It destroyed that scientist's career. And he does reference that, like, we're not going to acknowledge that Revenge or The Creature Walks Among Us. It is just the 1954 movie. So, everyone thought it was a hoax at the end of the day. And what it was that the creature did die of his gunshot wounds, and the remains of the Gillman turned out, they were found by... because that area now is gone. It's the Black Lagoon is gone through the forest was cut down. So essentially, what happened? The body was recovered by a group of villagers, and they sold the body off to InGen, the skeleton, and InGen managed to take remains from it and make it and clone it. So it's it's a new clone, and they're like, and Dr. Wu comes in, he's like, we're still testing to see if it's good enough to like show to the public. And they're like, why? It has the same level of intellect, maybe if not more than the raptors. So Malcolm's just like, John, the moment I think you're having a moment of clarity, you do things like that. Good job. So the Gillman, however, is like watching Ellie. And Ellie's like looking back at it, and John basically says, oh, yes, it has a propensity for, we usually have female trainers and scientists come and take care of the creature because it responds better to female interaction. We've learned that. So it has, and he's like, and Malcolm's like, oh yeah, because why wouldn't he be a 6-foot fish man? How could he not be a horn dog? So Grant's just like looking in awe of him, and the creature's like looking at them and then just bolts away. So fast forward through the rest of the movie, and now we've gotten to where Nedry fucked around and found out. And among those creatures that managed to break out of their cells was the Gillman. He gets out of his cell and is like wandering through the like hallways of the deep parts of the lab, finds another scientist who was left behind after the hurricane, like grabs him, just kills him. Because he's looking for Ellie. He found Ellie and he was like, oh, I want that. So he's like wandering through and actually like stumbles upon and he sees Ellie like leaving the facilities with Muldoon. And he's like, woman! So he proceeds to follow after them and actually encounters one of the raptors. The Gillman and the raptor proceed to fight. And the Gillman's sadly out of his element. If this was underwater, he'd have a better shot. But the Velociraptor's just too fast. And he's already, been out of water too far. And he just gets sliced up and has to, retreat. So he gets back in the water and keeps swimming around until he keeps swimming until he gets back on land and finds his way back into the visitor center, where he finds Lex and Tim, and he sees them running away and sees the raptor again, and he's like, "You!" Proceeds to rush forward and tackle one of the raptors into into another room, and proceeds to fight it. This time, however, Gilman gets a better shot, because now he got the surprise on him, and proceeds to grab the raptor while it's struggling, and he's screaming in rage, just throws it, and proceeds to just roar, getting the attention of the second raptor, the big one, who the raptor and him proceed to get into another fight, while Lex and Tim and everyone else is trying to desperately escape escape the Gilman as he's fighting the raptor. And the Gilman is he's on the ground getting just mauled by the big one. He's looking over at Ellie, who's just looking on and no. And the Gilman's just tries his best to push the raptor off, and just throws him into a skeleton and impales it. There's a moment, because the T-Rex doesn't show up in this continuity. What happens is the Gilman looks back at Ellie and everyone else, and he's bleeding out, because he's been through fighting 2 different raptors. And Grant's holding the gun, leveling up the gun at him, and Gilman's just kind of looking at them, doesn't know what to do, and Ellie just goes, wait, just let him go. Just let him go. And the Gilman proceeds to just wander out, just huddling out, just holding on to his wounds, until he finds a small river in Isla Nublar, and jumps in, and proceeds to just swim away. Everyone else proceeds to just leave as intended in the original film. Meanwhile, everyone's wondering what happened to the Gilman. So we cut back to Isla Nublar, and the Gilman is just kind of swimming along the river, and eventually he finds a inlet that leads out into the sea, and he's looking out, and he's and dives under and swims out. We then cut to somewhere in Mexico, and a series of tracks are leading off the Mexico beach and into a nearby jungle. So yeah, the Gilman finds his way back into the sea, back to his home, or a variant of it. Anyway, so there you go, guys. Kind of a brief story, but I really wanted to play with this. And my good friend Matt is also going to be on here talking. We're going to do a version of this too, and kind of talk about other ideas. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to do this first. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this crossover? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.